Hey guys, welcome back to Waters Family Homestead. All right, I'm trying to use this tripod. So, just got home from work. I picked the garden and I went and fed the chickens, gathered all the eggs. Had a good egg day. Had about 10, I think, from the Easter egg or the middle pen. And I got 5 from the Rhode Island red pen, 4 in the nesting boxes and 1 on the ground. But much better than I've been getting, so I can't argue about it. All right, let me flip this around for a minute and show y'all. Okay, I'm gonna take my lid off my little starter tray here. Let's see if y'all can see that. I got one little Katana tomato coming up right there in that corner. The rest of them, none of them have come up yet. Not that I've seen. Nothing else has come up. That's the first one popping through right there in the middle of the screen. All right, let me put this back on. These clothespins work well. For it being outside, it can't blow away. Grabs the lip and holds the lid down. And I come up every day and tap that top and knock the moisture back down in there. All right, so I did not reframe the stakes I put in, but let me show y'all what I did do originally. I didn't do this today. I had 2 in the middle that are poking up here, holding the tarp up in the middle. What I did today was drive the corners down until it got a little bit snug, you know, just so it'd start pulling it tight and the water will run off. I didn't drive the middles down because I want it to stay tight, but I drove all 4 corners down, and it's got a pretty good slope to it. So I'd say 80% of the water or moisture run off. And if you look up, see them dark clouds? We're fixing to get more rain. I'm surprised it hadn't already started on me. As far as the rose bush, all the blooms have fallen off. It was beautiful while it was going, and it's going to bloom again. This thing always blooms at least twice a year. So there's something there that never did. So it may, I don't know if it might again. But anyway, I pulled some onions today. The larger ones that were in there, I went ahead and pulled them, cut the tops off and threw them down. I'll chop them with the mower. And I cut some leaves off the zucchini plant. It was just too thick for me to reach in and pull zucchini. So I pulled some of the bigger onions. I did leave a couple of the larger mediums, but I went ahead and pulled them, and they were nice looking onions. I've got them in the house. I pulled, I don't know, half a dozen squash and 2 or 3 zucchini, and I've got a few more zucchini that should be ready tomorrow or the next day. But I didn't pull any more carrots. They do need more time, according to the first 2 I pulled. And I haven't dug any more of the potatoes. So I already dug these the first time I dug, and then I did that half the bed in the last video. So I've got to do these 10 plants over here. Now these are medium size. All right, I'm struggling with the tripod, y'all, but that plant right there is huge. I honestly don't remember if it's 1 or 2. I think it's 2, and they're kind of mounted together. But anyway, so that'd be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 or 12 plants right here. I'd say 11. And then I've got my white potatoes, which they should be ready in another week or 2. There's some of them are starting to get ready now. So as soon as all this rain is gone and it dries up a little bit, I'll probably go ahead and pull all the potatoes. So there are quite a few baby squash on this plant and that plant that should mature if the bugs don't beat me to them. But I did fertilize these tomato plants with the tomato booster over there a couple of days ago after the rain. It says as long as it's 2 hours, you know, before it rains again, that it works. So I went ahead and did that. And I'm gonna walk over here and show y'all this last one that stayed tiny for so long. Look at that. This thing was 1 inch tall for weeks, and now it's 5 inches tall. Can y'all see that? Let's see if I can turn the camera. That's doing pretty good. It has shot up a lot. So, and Louie up under the potting bench there on the bottom shelf. So another package came in. I did not order that. That is 6 foot wide by 100 feet of landscape fabric or weed mat. I do want to overlap a lot of what's here for the seams where the weeds are coming through, the grass is trying to come through. But my plan is to widen this, as I've talked about in other videos. And I ordered 180 feet, 4 foot wide. That's enough to go all the way around the raised bed garden out here and leave me room for more raised beds on the outside of what will be a greenhouse. But Uncle Greg sent me that 6 foot by 100 feet. So I'm definitely going to have enough weed mat to enlarge this. And I don't plan on doing that this growing season. I plan on doing it later, later in the year, maybe before fall or during the winter months or something like that when we're not doing much else. And my compost will be ready back there then. And that's a lot of raised beds. And I just, you know, that's a lot of money to spend to buy that many more raised beds. So I'll worry about that later. Right now, this garden is doing extremely well for my inexperienced self. Man, I absolutely love those 6 foot tall trellis poles in that net. That just looks absolutely awesome to me. I haven't even planted in the bed yet, but it's ready. The cucumbers are planted in the seed tray right up here. So that looks absolutely awesome. It looks like a professional came by and done something for me and then left. It wasn't me, I promise. But anywho, all right, that's all I want to do. I wanted to show y'all that one Katana tomato that has decided to pop up, and that I picked a few of the onions. Man, they look fantastic. So I know I pulled one and put in with that stew I cooked the other day, that big beef roast and all the potatoes and carrots and stuff. So I'm absolutely going to enjoy those things. And I'm not a big onion person, but I did plant sweet onions, and I guess the older I get, the more I like them. I don't know. But those things are fantastic. So I don't know how much longer I need to wait for the carrots to pick, but they weren't long enough. They were big enough around. They just weren't long enough. So I'm going to allow them to grow at least until I'm finished pulling all the potatoes, and possibly even pull some of this squash as it's, because, like, you know, it's already well past its midlife time frame. So some of this squash and zucchini is going to get pulled. And what I talked about in the last videos, I planted 2 more squash plants here, summer squash, and then I planted some zucchini, Black Beauty zucchini, 2 plants here. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, but y'all see what these plants are producing. So if I can get 2 of them that are going to start producing as some of these others are ending, and then as I pull this other stuff, plant more, I can continue the zucchini and squash for many more months, I'm hoping. And of course, plant other stuff as well. So I got to experiment a little bit. I just got to make myself do it. But trying to use this tripod more and not have y'all focused on the background that's spinning around when I turn around and move and all that good stuff. But that's the purpose of the tripod. If I can get used to holding it and aiming at myself, maybe I can get a little bit better quality video for you guys. This is Monday evening when I got home, and I've already uploaded one for Tuesday morning. I've got a video that I've got edited already that I've got to upload for Wednesday or Thursday. Probably going to be Wednesday, and this will be Thursday. So it's been a really good day. We were busy, not busy with customers, but it's the time of the month where I told y'all I do receivables and payables. So it's the time of the month where I'm having to do the payables as well as still receivables coming in. And it's busy day for me. And I actually didn't even finish what I intended to finish today. So I'll be starting back on it first thing in the morning. But it keeps me busy. And the guy that just came back I told y'all about, let me switch arms, that had been gone for about 8 or 9 months. He's a good helper. I like him. He's a young guy, but he doesn't mind helping do anything. And he has taken a lot off of me. It may not be busy yet. It gets busier as spring and summer comes in. May not be so busy yet that we actually needed a third guy, but with all the management end, I say management end, paperwork and that stuff that I do and the other guy does, we need another person. And he's taken a lot of time off of me so that I can do the other part of my job. And it's just, it's way better than it was. So I'm gonna walk around the chicken pen here and go back and take a look at the fig trees and take a look at the blueberry bushes over there. But let me show y'all this. Look at there. Y'all see all them peaches? Hard to see them on camera, but doggone, it's loaded with peaches. I have not sprayed them. Since I have not sprayed them, I'm probably going to be like last year, just feeding them to the chickens. They're going to eat the peach and the insects as well, but I need to figure out what I can spray on those peach trees to help deter the pests so that I might actually be able to get some peaches off of it. It'd be nice to can some peaches. But I come over, I want to look at this scuppling vine, so I'm going to flip y'all back around. Look at there, y'all. This thing, when those little tiny scupplings right there, or muscadines, whatever y'all want to call them, start filling out and getting bigger, this thing is going to be loaded with scupplings this year, especially with the rain we're getting now that's helping them, boost a little bit as it's trying to produce tiny fruit. So this is going to be this is going to be a pretty good harvest off of one scuppling vine. So I'm very thrilled about that. All right, so I'm gonna walk over here. I have been looking on this apple tree to see if there's any baby apples on it anywhere, and I have not seen any. It had a lot of blooms on it this year, and I've still yet to see any tiny apples that may be coming out. I don't know if it's easier for y'all to see or me, but I don't see any baby apples on here. So it still is not producing apples, and if they don't produce this year, they're definitely coming down before next year. They're just wasting space. So here's the other peach tree. And now this one, y'all know I cut it completely down last year. This was a sprig that came up, and because this one was growing crooked and it broke in a storm. So I cut it down, and this thing has come back up, and it's got a lot of growth on it. It's already 12 to 15 feet tall, but I don't see any peaches on it. And the other tree over there is loaded. So I guess it's focusing on growth. I'll end up pruning all these lower little shoots off of it so it can continue focusing on what it needs to. All right, so here's the fig tree. Look at there. Look, y'all. See all them little figs in there? It's going to be a good year for figs if the birds don't beat me to them. Now, here's the thing. I've got some bird netting, but that stuff is so fine and lightweight, it takes more than one person to put that stuff out. And I need to prune all these little shoots coming off the bottom. That's not helping the tree at all. And the figs are going to do well this year as well. The birds probably beat me to them, but they're going to do well. All right, so look at this apple tree. This is the oldest one on my property. I planted it about 10 years ago. And look, this second limb where it split and come up right here has got some new growth coming off of it, but this above it is dead. I need to cut that off. This one here has grown up quite a bit, but I still only had a few blooms on it this year compared to the other tree, and I still don't see any apples. And this tree is almost 10 years old. So it's just wasting space and time. Honestly, if I could afford to have somebody come out with a boom truck, you know, a tree person come out with a boom truck and cut some of these limbs back on this big old oak tree, I could do that and open up some sunshine on these things, and it might help. And y'all, I'm standing here talking to y'all, and I just realized, look at that. Let me see if I can zoom in. See if y'all can see that. Look at that crack in that limb right there. Gosh, if that thing comes down, it's gonna probably take out my water tanks. I don't think it'll hit the well, but it'll definitely take out the chicken fence and all right there. So that tells me I need to drain those water tanks, get them moved away from this doggone tree before this thing breaks and comes down on it. And then of course, once I move them, fill them back up. Let me zoom back out, y'all. So I need to get that done. I did not know that big old crack was there. That is a huge crack in that limb. And it looks like it may have grown that way. I don't know, but I've never noticed it before. So if I never noticed it before, I need to get everything that I want to save out from under it. I can't move the fencing, but I can move the gate and I can move these water containers. And if that limb falls, deal with it then. Yep, it'd be nice to prune that thing. Let me flip this around. It'd be nice to prune that thing right there, because that's the part that cracked going way up, and then prune the end off of some of these other limbs where they're so long and wide. And it'd probably help this tree as old as it is. It would be a lot if two grown adults tried to reach around that tree and touch each other's hands. That'd be close. I'm telling you, it's a big old oak tree. So I'm gonna have to do something. I can't afford to get somebody out here with a lift truck and cut the limbs back. So I'm gonna have to do something myself. I'm probably gonna end up having to repair fencing when this limb decides to come down. Whew, that's gonna be bad, y'all. So I need to get my fencing roll right here moved out from back here. I need to get this little bit of sheet metal I've got moved. I'm probably gonna lean it up against the chicken pens back here or lay it down, because hopefully the limb above the chicken pens doesn't break. It's a whole separate limb. This big one right here runs right above the chicken pens. So that'd be the one that destroyed the pens and killed my chickens, or let them all out or whatever, I'm sure. But anywho, let me turn this. All right, I'm not a big fan of this tripod, but I am trying. So let me see if I can flip this back toward the blueberry bush and zoom back in. Can y'all see all those blueberries? It's got a lot on it. But usually the birds beat me to about a quarter of them, and they're not blue yet. They're just starting to get some size to them and starting to have a little bit of shade of blue, but they got a long ways to go before they're plump and ready. So, all right. I told my grandson I wanted all those pear tree shoots cut down, and he come out and butchered it up a little bit, but there's still a lot of them still growing. So I got to go in there and get those too, because I don't want those pear trees coming back. And I probably need to cut them off closer to the ground. I've got to cut that log a little bit smaller. I can pick it up, but throwing it over this fence, it's a little bit much for me. So I need to cut the limb off of it and throw that over, and then I can probably get the log out. So anyways, always something to do. And I haven't done a video on it Haven't done a video on it, but I've got, you know, y'all know I work in an electric wholesale place, so we sell electrical stuff to the public and to electricians. And there's a lot of electricians out there, by the way. But one of them I have become pretty good friends with, and I trust him. He's not that expensive compared to some of the others, and he's just all around good guy. So instead of me trying to put this soft start on my well so that it'll run on my off-grid power, whoop, my camera turned on me. Don't know why. But instead of it's still trying to turn. What the world? That thing ain't even supposed to be on. Anyway, it's trying to turn on me, y'all. This is it's got a gimbal up under it. Look at that. All right, hold on. Maybe if I turn it, y'all excuse the video. All right. Maybe if I turn it this way, it'll stay focused on me. All right, so I hate wasps. Anyway, I paid him to come out and install the soft start for me, and I have no idea why I didn't think about doing it the way he did, but he put it in a week and a half or so ago, and it's just wired to the main panel up here at the house. And I was planning on installing it in the pump house, and he installed it up here. He's like, that's where your power comes from. So he put it in for me, and he checked the amp draw on the well pump motor and all, and he said, look, it ain't drawing but 19 amps on startup. Your inverter should handle that. Well, I haven't moved the power from this panel box to the inside to the off-grid power yet, and he keeps asking me about it. He said, man, I want to know how it did. I want to know how it did. Well, I just haven't had a chance, and I'm not going to get out here when the weather's been the way it's been, you know, and get rained on while I'm messing around in my main electrical panel. So it's just going to have to wait a little bit, but I'll probably do a video on that. Once I do, I'll bring my meter's at work, so I'll probably bring it home and check the amp draw on that on my well pump, and then get it moved and see if my inverter will handle the well coming on and running on my off-grid power. That is the one thing that I need to be off-grid that I do not have off-grid. I can run everything else on my property on my off-grid property, off-grid power. So that's why I plan on, toward the end of the year, putting in a propane instant water heater, tankless water heater, so it'll take a lot of power off of, you know, demand off of my system, because I have a 120 volt water heater and it's only 6 gallons, but it heats up so fast. We have always had plenty of hot water for showers and all that stuff. So I need to get that installed so I can take that demand off of my off-grid power. And then once I get the off-grid, you know, the rest of it installed, the panels and all that, guys, I should be able to do completely away with the power company. And that's my goal. It's been my goal from day one. It's why I built the house the way I built the house, the size that I built, and, you know, spray foaming it, running larger gauge wire than what the system, you know, the items needed, because you have less voltage drop and less amperage droppage over the distance. So I built this house as energy efficient as I could. And yes, it's a small house, but I don't know of a way to build it any more energy efficient than I've done. And I've got to get focused on my off-grid power to get my goal, which is not have to use the power company. Now, you know, power companies don't like it when you're off-grid. They don't like you not using their power and paying them money every month. But what most people don't realize is you're paying anywhere from $25 to $45 a month just to have that meter base for the power to come in. That's what they're charging you a month to have that meter, to have the service, plus whatever you use. Well, I just got my power bill in the mail today. It's $94 and change. So I'm paying $35 a month to have the meter. So basically I'm using $60 a month in electricity, which is not a lot. So if I can get that well off of the grid power and get it on my off-grid power and get my panels put in and my other batteries and all of that done, I'm pretty sure I can get myself completely off the grid. And I'll leave the grid power on to the meter base. It'll be my backup power. So if my system was to go down, or if my batteries got too weak or something like that, the grid would be my backup power. So that way they can't say, well, you don't have electricity. Yes, I do. Just because I'm not using it, there's no law saying I don't have to, I have to use it. So anyway, that's my plan. And I've got to move my solar system and my well getting off the grid power up the priority list. I can't just stop gardening. Let me flip around. That's where I'm standing, guys. I can't just stop gardening. The plants are growing, it's producing. I've got to do that. And I'm going to continue doing that, but majority of my extra money is going to be going towards getting my off-grid power finished so I can completely be off the grid for electricity. So a lot of people, everybody says off-grid is this and off-grid is that. But the truth of the matter is, most people consider not having an electric bill being off-grid. Yes, I'll still have cell phone, I'll still have internet and all that. It's going to work off my grid power. I mean, my off-grid power. But that's what I consider off-grid. If I don't have to pay somebody to have the necessities that you need in your modern life, then to me that's off-grid. And that's what my goal is. That's what my goal was before I ever built this house, before I drew the plans for the house, before I even sold the place I had in Ellaville and moved to Americus. That was my goal. When I put my list of what I wanted to do and get done on my refrigerator when I lived in Ellaville, that was my get this done, get this done, get this paid off, get this paid off, and down the list until I was able to buy the land and then able to build the house. So that's been my goal the whole time. And we're talking about 16 or 17 years. And I should have already been off the grid. I just didn't move that up my priority list like I should have. But all right, guys. Well, I appreciate y'all following along. I hope you like the tripod usage. Yes, I'm getting used to it, and I understand there's some movement that you probably don't like to see, and I apologize for that, but I'll get better with it. And hopefully I'm not zooming in on my face too much. I've got this camera zoomed out as far as I can. I actually have a crack in my lens on the camera that y'all are looking through now. So if I go to the normal, not zoomed in mode at all, like 0.5, the left side of the screen is blurry from that crack. So I have to be at 1x zoom in order to have a clear picture. Yeah, that's my fault, but ain't nothing I can do about it. Now the camera that faces me, let me flip y'all around, it's not cracked. So I've really enjoyed this phone, and I'm not a Google fan at all, but I have a Samsung, and it's been a good camera for me to be able to make videos. When I had my iPhone, it wouldn't let me flip to the garden and back to me. I had to stop the video and then restart the video to get a different view. This phone was the first one that allowed me to do that, and I enjoyed being able to have that option. So thank y'all for watching. Remember what I've always told you: Jesus Christ loves you, and so do I. Thank y'all very, very much. Y'all really do make my day. And Mr. Greg, Uncle Greg, thank you very much for what you send me. It means the world to me, and I appreciate it. Y'all be good.